A lot of people felt Zeze was too easy on Pastor Tobi. What strategies?
You haven't even watched it, so I don't know.
I just said who.
What strategies should be used in these type of interviews?
Yeah, Zeze.
How did you feel about the interview?
I mean, I think I did well. Obviously, I'm always going to come out of the interview and maybe wish I asked other questions and be like, oh, I wish I said this or I wish I done that. But the thing with Pastor Tobi, if people actually watch the Zeze Millz show beforehand, I've never actually condemned Pastor Tobi. I've always said that there's things that might be a bit questionable about him, but I think the way he draws young people into the church is actually quite good because we have to keep up with the times. If you've got drill rappers bringing in young children, then if you want people to come to Christ, you're going to have to think of a good way to do it. I don't understand what people wanted me to do. I think people wanted...
it's an exploitation bit, babe.
Okay, but there's drug dealers that exploit
but doesn't
young
make it
kids
okay.
all the day.
Okay, two rights don't make it wrong.
No, okay, but...
Two wrongs don't make it wrong, yeah.
Two wrongs don't make it right.
Okay, but my whole point is, everybody has vim for Pastor Tobi, but no one has. So is the local drug dealer.
Pastor Tobi is a cunt.
Why is he a cunt?
He abuses little young kids. He takes advantage. Of young kids.
Where's the proof?
How many of these people are under the age of 16?
Under the age of 16?
One of them was 15.
Yeah.
One of them was 15.
And my honest opinion.
If it was your son, you would not be saying this. If it was your daughter, you would not be saying this. It's only till it's close to home that you feel a type of way.
We're all like that with a lot of things.
Can I ask a question? Has this man been
It doesn't
charged?
matter.
Has he been
It
charged?
doesn't matter.
Has he been
in the
charged?
Court, in the court of my judgment.
Certain man have bust case for M's and man them know that they actually done it.
Okay,
It
but
don't
no
matter.
one has been. We all know he did it. He's a prick.
My whole point is, when Pastor Tobi came on my platform, this is the first time he's actually spoken, okay, about the allegations that have been made against him. Yeah. I guarantee you, if I spent 45 minutes calling him a cunt like Lani wanted me to do, everybody would have been saying, this is the first time he's come on a platform to speak. Why didn't you let him speak? Right. Why didn't you give him a chance? He could have said something that would have caught him out. This
is the problem with black people.
Yeah. This is the problem with Zeze. All you do is speak over your guests. All you do is this. So I gave the man to think. And if people were actually maybe intelligent, they would have listened to what, and a lot of people DM me and said, you know what, I'm glad you let him speak because he revealed himself to be narcissistic. Yes, he revealed himself to be like all about him. He caught himself out a couple of times. It didn't need you to be like, oh, but you just said that. If you listen to the interview, there's a couple of times when he did catch himself out. But my thing is as well, as he said, and which I agreed with him, in the black community and as we are very quick to jump. When your niggers go to court, and he gets let free, yet he bust case, he done this, big up my man, we knew he wasn't guilty, He's not been charged. He's not even been charged. He's not even been put in front of a judge.
Guilty.
Okay, but it doesn't, but then me as an interviewer,
he's still a cunt though.
Okay, you can have that.
We know he done it.
How? How do you know?
We know he done it. Same way I know R. Kelly. R. Kelly is a paedophile. Same way I know R. Kelly. We just know.
How? You just know. Imagine this was your...
all the people that come forward. There's no babe, there's no smoke with a fire. There's no smoke. There's no smoke with a fire.
Yeah, but Lani,
he's definitely guilty of some of it.
Lani, there's bare man out there that probably think you're a hoe. But there's no evidence that you're a hoe. And that's because of the way...
There's no smoke without fire. There's no smoke without fire.
Why did someone say that?
Guys might say certain things or drop little things about things, but you're not a hoe.
But the difference is that's not a crime. We're talking about a criminal, a narcissistic man who abuses and exploits young children. He is an absolute cunt.
Wait, hold on.
Wait. There are loads of preachers like him, especially like in places like Africa where people are like desperate and they look at these preachers for a way out, and these preachers, they manipulate them.
Okay, so just because someone's narcissistic means that they commit fraud. So just because you dress like that means you're a hoe.
No,
that's
trivial.
No, because
that's trivial.
No, it's not. Because she's trying to say
I'm a bad bee. No, you are.
She clearly said because he's a narcissistic man. He's narcissistic. This is the proof that equals he does all these illegal activities. So if we're going on that premise, just because somebody...
But I don't have niggas standing up saying Lani's a hoe. That's different. Okay. You're going on the way I dress. No. If 10 niggas came out and said Lani is a hoe, then I must be a hoe.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
No, yes, there's no smoke without fire. All these kids wouldn't all line up. No. All these kids wouldn't come out. R. Kelly is guilty. We know that for fact.
Is Michael Jackson guilty? Is Michael Jackson guilty?
Maybe.
I don't think so.
And this is the problem that she's saying. Why is it?
Why?
Do you know what? Zeze, The difference is no.
Michael
Zeze.
Jackson-
You
call yourself
No,
out.
Zeze.
Call yourself out.
Zeze. The reason I said maybe is because I know about R. Kelly. I actually watched.
how do you know?
Let me land.
How do you know?
I have actually done my research. I've watched documentaries on R. Kelly, and I've also followed Pastor Tobi. I don't really care about Michael Jackson, so I don't know
Why?
nothing about
Why?
him.
But you listen to
I
his
don't.
music.
I don't.
You
no,
know
I
about
don't.
everything.
No, I don't. I'm not a Michael Jackson fan.
Yeah.
So the difference is, I can't talk on somebody I don't know. I know about R. Kelly,
All right,
and I know
all right.
Pastor Tobi, and they're both cunts.
Okay, but is Michael Jackson?
I
She
don't
can't
know
speak
about
on names.
him.
She can't speak on
Okay.
names. Zeze, stop
Okay,
that.
but
She
she
can't
said
speak
she
on names.
doesn't-
She can't speak on names.
Okay.
Next
But
question.
my whole point is,
I'm there for you, Landon.
my whole point is that Lucas gets what I mean.
He probably is guilty.
Because you're cunt as well. That's why.
Everybody is quick to cancel R. Kelly, as everyone rightly should, because if they think he's a paedophile. But everybody saw the documentary with Michael Jackson, where the boys said they slept in the room with him. They didn't, whether he not or
He
touched
should
them.
be cancelled.
Can I just say
Yeah,
something?
just go on,
There is
go on.
no reason why a grown man should be sleeping with young boys, whether he touched them or not. Because wait, there's no reason. That is weird behavior.
It's weird.
I don't think it's weird behavior.
Okay, no.
It depends on
So
your
you'll
perspective.
be
It's
okay.
all about. It's all about. It's all about. It's all about.
There's a lot of men that
A lot of men aren't like Michael Jackson. He was a very peculiar somebody.
Okay.
And that's the thing. Most men aren't like Michael Jackson
Okay,
or
okay,
are
but
like
so-
paedophiles. So,
But
for
the whole
example,
point is, would you be okay with your 5-year-old sleeping in a grown man's bed?
with his uncle, his
No,
cousins,
but that's not.
yes.
But he's not. No, but that's his.
If he's a random
it's not,
man,
it's not cousin.
No.
It's somebody.
Let's equate
Would
this
you
thing
be
properly.
happy with your? Okay. would
If
you-
it's a random, of course
Lucas.
not. I wouldn't be happy with any random
Okay,
sleeping in the bed.
okay,
But if he's a
but-
family friend,
No, but
he's
Michael Jackson- but
I know
a lot
him.
of these people
Why
was not a family friend. Michael Jackson saw these guys, little boys. He likes them, and they.
I don't know the ins and outs.
Don't
so
say
now
like them.
this is a documentary.
Okay, darling,
I
and
didn't
those
say
kids-
like.
and
Just
those
because I
kids-
said like doesn't mean sexual.
Cool.
Because he likes.
Let's bring it
My
back
whole
in.
point
Let's
is,
bring it back in.
Everybody has vim for R. Kelly. Keep that vim and say you're going to
do.
cancel
I
Michael
do.
Jackson
I
as well.
do.
Wait, leave Michael Jackson. He's dead. He's not here to come and defend himself.
I wanted her to finish why she doesn't like him. Like, what's your reasoning
Because
for
he
not liking him?
exploits young children. If he was, I heard a story of him exploiting or the
Was
other
it
girl.
him
No, okay.
exploiting?
A girl that works with him, Margaret or whatever her name is. I heard she exploited an older woman. I didn't have sympathy for her as much. But the young kids, the ones that are 16, 15, they're not even fully developed in their brain. Like they're easy to manipulate.
But you're allowed to have sex at 16.
I think he's an
15,
avoda.
at 15, 16, would you say that you was easily manipulated
Yes.
in the brain?
Yeah, I'm a kid. I don't have life experience. An older person, especially somebody in the church. In the church, that's the last place you're going to think you're going to get exploited. He's using God to exploit people. I think he's evil.
you know
I
what?
think he's evil.
I think my take on Pastor Tobi is based on everything for me, which is experience. You know, how you grew up. I grew up around the KICCs.
They got KFC.
At one point, Pastor Shimolo was on Crime Watch or Watchdog or something like that. Spac Nation is like sort of like a modern version of KICC when that started. Do you get what I'm saying? Because
No, I agree with
when
that.
KICC came out, bruv, there was bare controversy, like so much going on. Yeah, so
The same thing. He got the commission, charity
yeah,
commission.
everything.
Church in the
Investigated.
Was it about
In the
their
Catholic Church,
finances
paedophile.
or the
About
actual
About
church
their
conduct?
finances.
Everything. I don't want to speculate too much about the ins and outs because obviously time has passed and I don't know too much about it factually. But just to give a background. Now, Pastor Tobi's come along and my first honest impressions of the man was, do you know what? I like what he's doing. Because it was a modern spin on church that for me was getting outdated, losing following, losing fellowship and all the rest of it, right? So I liked it. He was bringing children back into the church. He was using the things that they like as well to bring them to the church, which is what I think you should do. The part where I started to get a bit... the part where I started to get a bit worried was his management, and this is why I said I blame him for his management of his staff and the people that he gave authority to represent Spac Nation.
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm not saying I'm his biggest fan. I'm not saying what they do over there is right. My first point of call is Christianity says, "Thou shalt not judge." Who am I to judge? Do you get what I'm saying? So it's God's religion. It's like it's God to decide whether, you know what, this man is gonna get into heaven or not. So continue preaching your message. Continue doing what you're doing. The children or the people that have been affected, in my opinion, are the people that need to be spoken to or need to be addressed. For me, it's like, it's no different to doing jobs or coming to do a move. Oh yeah, bro, I got this new hustle. It sounds sweet. Come do it. And you had that within a church. And you got sucked in to that within a church. That's the problem. That happens throughout life, man.
Yeah, it is.
So that means, hold on, all these impressionable people, because me, the way I see it is there's an issue with that with the generation of children being raised. Like, so what you're telling me is that everybody's that impressionable, that gullible, that they're all getting sucked into this place that is meant to be bad, all of these people, and they're all getting bumped, and still it keeps thriving, and he's never been
because he's
convicted.
a master manipulator.
Bro, listen, what I'm gonna say is this now, yeah? I've had for a long time a very big disinterest with SPAC or anything, because I know that it's not for me.
It's not for me, of course.
And I don't agree with a lot of things going there. The difference between me and a lot of people is that before I made a judgment on SPAC, I've been there at least 3 times. You know what I mean? I've got friends there. I'm not so much friends.
You've been there?
Yes, I have. You know what I mean? Because
which is the right thing to do before casting judgment,
you know what I mean?
Alani.
I feel like before going to go and judge, let me at least go there.
Well
You know what I
done,
mean?
I'm proud of you.
Thanks. You know what I mean? So I had some friends that, well, come. I said, well, I went there once, twice, 3 times.
What was your experience?
Honestly, praise and worship was amazing. I loved it. Very vibrant and whatever. Boom, boom, boom. What I didn't like was some of the preachings. Then I think, wow, this is crazy because this guy has a lot of like rules. And I'm like, this guy has a lot of influence over these people. He's saying some mad stuff that I'm catching, but everyone here is calm. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel, like one of the things that stuck out to me. It's been a while, but this is one thing that I kind of held on to. Is that wow? He said everybody that has, he said any baby that has died is going to hell. He said, well, so anybody who has had any abortion, yes, the baby's going to hell. I'm thinking, nigga, who the hell were you to come and say that? And there was yes, Pastor Tobi, yeah. And I'm thinking, what? Cool. There was a day that it was his birthday there, right? And the people of the church brought out his cake. It was a Tommy Hill figure cake. They had a Cartier watch for him, some lubes. And I'm thinking, bro, is this a church or what? Like, what impression is this giving out to people who aren't as fortunate? What is the actual purpose of this?
Which I touched on in my interview, might I say.
I will go and watch it, like I said, you know. And I feel just like, okay, so ever since then, and I've heard about people who go there, right? People who are grown adults talking about how they have been finessed by the church, and they're like, oh yeah, but no, they mean well. It's not that. And I'm thinking, wait, this guy's finessing all of you, man. To bring in peace, whether it's car rentals or trading or whatever. And it's like, well, everything I hear about this church just seems to be a money-making scheme.
Stupid. How can you be gay finesse?
How can you say that? That's because have you ever been finessed?
I do think people are very
because
gullible.
you obviously have no sympathy for people who have.
Can I just say something?
You obviously have no sympathy because I have. You have no sympathy.
Every time I've been done over, yeah, I always ask myself the question.
What could I have done to prevent this?
Like,
But
why?
that doesn't take away. You might be naive, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the other person is evil.
Can I say something? Can I just say one thing?
Did they force you?
They're still evil.
They put bullets in
They
you.
should be burnt in hell.
Ay.
No, I'm sorry, he's evil.
Like, I was with you, but that was a bit powerful.
Yeah,
You can't judge.
No, I am
Can I
judging.
just say something? That's one of the reasons why I actually stopped going to church, because when I would go to church, I felt like the emphasis was so much on money, and that's Nigerian churches, American churches. I lived in America for a little while. It's very much like, you know, come to the front. If you want to give that $5,000, give that $5,000 if God has placed it on your heart. And they'll give a 20-minute sermon leading up to the offering on why you should give offering. Yeah. And that's why I kind of took a step back from church, because I was like, this just doesn't feel right to me.
It's not every church though, but
predominantly Pentecostal churches, they are very hell-bent on tithing and giving money. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I don't think tithing is bad,
but but if you want to give your tithe, give your tithe. But don't give me a 20-minute sermon after you give an hour-and-a-half sermon about prosperity, another 20-minute sermon on now why I need to give another pledge of 500 to the church. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I stepped back. So my thing with Pastor Tobi, like I said in my interview, if you want to have vim for Pastor Tobi, that's your business, have vim for him. But my problem is, especially with the black community, is that we are very selective on what crime we think should be bad, okay? There's a lot of roadman, top don, or whatever you want to call them, the whoever is at the top, who manipulate, who who manipulate young boys, who make them think that they're going to be getting the world really good stuff if they do this and do that, and nobody has as much online vim than they do for their local drug dealer than they have. What you think Pastor Tobi is doing? Because they're scared of it.
No.
They know that they can't do nothing.
I want to say a reason other than them being scared.
They know. So my thing is, if you're gonna ridicule and come for Pastor Tobi because he's apparently manipulating young people and
Pastor Tobi has a duty of care, being in the position that he's in.
Okay, but
he has a certain level of accountability.
No, that's right.
That is the difference.
Okay,
Drug dealers and them man are doing something fucked. Hands up. You know what I mean? But as a pastor, you have to take accountability.
Of course.
Your
You
figure representation as well.
take accountability. But if we're going to be upset with everybody, be upset with everybody that is extorting and exploiting our young people.
Of course, but if I expect more from a pastor than a drug dealer,
Okay,
the morals of a drug dealer and a pastor are not on the same.
But both the drug dealer and the pastor are both man.
Okay, and also apparently
Just because of the title you put on them doesn't mean that they're not. They're both human beings, you know.
One is more honest. A drug dealer is a criminal.
One is meant to have been called by God. The other one is meant to have been called
Exactly.
by
One
peace.
is a criminal.
You know what I mean? If you're a criminal, do your thing. If God has called you, bro, what are you doing?
The big issue, the big thing you said there was meant, and that's why I said the common thing is they're both human. Yeah. For me, the emphasis needs to be on the people that are getting influenced. In life, people are gonna come into your world and try and exploit. This is how our whole civilization works. We exploit each other,
we need to be more
right?
realistic about it.
Now,
We don't leave
the
the
reality
focus on
of it is that is what happens in life.
Exactly.
So if you keep telling these people, no, this guy's a cunt, and they don't pattern themselves, they're gonna keep getting exploited.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah,
So
cool. Fact.
my issue is, yes, drug dealer, pastor, governmental, whatever you want to call it. We, as a people that are absorbing whatever these people are chucking at us, need to be patterned up.
Yeah, no, cool.
Our minds need to be on point. We need to know, okay, cool, if I'm going into a church and a pastor's preaching and he's a figure of representation, cool, that's how I see him. But morally, he owes me nothing.
Of course, but we're talking about the young kids.
He owes them nothing.
No, of course. I'm just saying, young, impressionable
Who
kids,
should we
though.
have more vim for? Who should we have more vim for? Some people that are literally making young people lose their life by drugs and gang-related things, or somebody that supposedly might put people in bad credit for 6 years. Which one should we be? We should be directing our energy to everyone. No, not saying either or. We should be trying to combat both of them. We should try to combat both of them. But nobody online, you know that there's drug dealers exploiting young boys, sending them to cunt, taking them out of school, taking them out of education, putting their lives in danger for literally next to nothing, and nobody talks about that in our community.
I don't know them,
Absolutely
man.
nobody.
I don't
You don't
know
Pastor,
them, man.
She don't know Pastor Tobi. You've been there. She don't know Pastor Tobi, but I bet you any money you probably dated a drug dealer.
This is the thing, though.
Or gone out with somebody that
No,
is
but
being-
wait.
that is morally incorrect.
I do think it's morally incorrect, Zeze. I do think so. Zeze,
Everyone's got all this. Everyone's got this vim for Pastor Tobi. It's morally incorrect, but you're sucking drug dealers' dick.
You like spice. You like spice, Zizzy. You like spice.
I may not.
She likes trouble.
The thing is, I have more sympathy from people who come from impoverished backgrounds, people who are trying to get out. It's like a jungle. The government puts black people into the ghetto. We have to get out. We are indoctrinated.
Talk to the drug dealer that is
but it's
exploiting.
different. I'm not saying it's not wrong.
The drug dealer is exploiting the impoverished.
I am not saying.
You want new Air Max?
He is also.
Come
But
to
he
me.
is also. But he is also.
I hate this girl. Oh
No,
my
do you know what? You know what, Zeze? Let me tell you something. I can when I judge people, actually, I'm not a complete bitch. For instance, with R. Kelly, even though I think he's a cunt, I do know that he was molested when he was a kid, innit? There's a part of me that can sympathise with the fact that
You better not
he's
say
grown
that.
up. No,
Don't say that.
No. I can say what I want. I can say what I want.
saying you sympathize with R. Kelly.
There's a part of me
She
that
has a
can
point, though.
sympathise.
I agree.
There's a small part of me that can, a small part
tiny
that can
part, maybe.
sympathise with him, because I feel like, you know what, as a young child he was exposed to sex, blah blah blah. So when it comes to a drug dealer, yes, I think he's wrong, but there's also another part of me that understands that he's come from an impoverished area, he lives in a ghetto, so it's all about a balance. With Pastor Tobi, and when I look at him, when I look at the pros and cons of
He
why
says he
he's
came
doing what
from
he's
a rich
doing,
family as well, by the way.
I don't see why he's doing what he's doing. I just see that he's a narcissist, he's an idiot.
I'm not saying what Pastor Tobi doing is right. I'm
think
just
you
saying,
are.
no, I'm just saying that
There's too much heat on his name.
Yeah,
we
because
decide. We always
it's like-
pick and choose what is wrong and right.
And I get that,
Keep
but
the vim across the board.
it's because we can't handle everything. I feel like
We pick
in the
and
case-
choose what we want to handle.
in the case of that
easy
whole-
targets that everyone knows they can get. We all know. Listen,
if I know there's problems that I can't reach, let me tackle the ones that I can reach.
We like to turn a blind eye to the drug dealer because whether we're scared or for our safety or whatever, but we know nothing's gonna happen if everyone gets onto pass. No, there's gonna be no repercussions.
You're forgetting as well, yeah, with Pastor Tobi, like, and this is slightly going to be contradictory to even what I was even saying, but
Let's
or
speak
even
it,
agree with you.
speak
But
it. Why not?
Pastor Tobi is a figurehead.
Yeah.
Visual representation to the black community.
Yeah.
The church has been historically consistent with regards to its representation, right? So the drug dealer is from impoverished backgrounds where people don't have a consistent template.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Of success or representation besides the drug dealer coming out. So when you come at the end and you become a drug dealer and he's trying to get other people to, or corrupt other people or influence other people to come into drugs, it's all from within the world that everybody's familiar, right? With Christianity and the church, we're familiar, but the leadership is we put a special emphasis on the people that carry leadership positions within the church. So the vim that you give to a Pastor Tobi is going to be
The church has been exploiting people
10
from the
times-
beginning.
Of course, but there's a way to go about it.
Of course, but the
Pastor
leadership
will come
of the
on live and tell you that your parents don't have the 10 bags in the act. That is a mazzoline, bro.
I mean,
No, what I'm saying, the church. He's saying the
That-
church
that is crazy.
system.
A pastor
The church
can't
has
come
been
and say that.
exploiting-
look at how my man brought the whole youth together within a short space of time.
And that's the only thing I rate him for.
But this is the thing, it's a lot of things to rate my man for. It's just that we're getting onto him about the thing that that doesn't sit well with us. Don't get me wrong, Christianity isn't a religion where you know, drippy and you put things in people's faces. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not a boisterous religion.
Yeah.
But it comes across like that with SPAC. Do you get what I'm saying to you?
So are they coming for God or for drip and money?
But this is the thing, I just want to understand what his actual message is
I think-
before condemning him.
Can I just
I think
can
the
I
message-
touch
the
on?
message
You see,
is just
Christianity not
abundance
being
and
a
peace and that's
boisterous religion. I think you are 110% right, and I think the people that we see that are boisterous, it almost comes from a cultural place as well. Naturally, Nigerian people are very loud and
Why Nigerian-
boisterous people. He's Nigerian. American people are black people in general. We're very loud. We're very proud people. Do you get what I mean? So you're not really gonna see a Church of England priest being like, do you know what I mean, like Pastor Tobi. So that's what I said to him as well. That's another reason why I stepped away from Christianity, because I feel like culture and religion with Christianity sometimes the churches that they start intertwining, and that's why I had to step away from
you're
it.
preaching now,
Because
you're preaching.
a lot of things that Pastor Tobi
You don't want to go down this conversation with me, boy.
a lot of stuff, Pastor Tobi being boisterous is a part of him. Like he said, like, I've always been like this. Before I was even a pastor, I've been boisterous, I've been flaunty. And us as black people, we see it all the time. Like, we always see the comparison, oh, Bill Gates is worth $1 billion, but he wears a white tee and a thing. Why do you rappers have to wear an AP, a bust-down AP? Because that is us. We're very loud. Not loud in a horrible way, but we're just loud. We're just like, we like to be seen. That's us as a culture, as a people. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that is one thing that I think it gets messed up with. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I'm not saying, like I said this to him, I'm not saying, but I agree with Lucas. Would I prefer my brother to go to SPAC, or would I prefer them to go to Cunch? I prefer them to go to SPAC. And I'd prefer him to go and learn about the Bible or whatever, or and be in an environment that some people might think, or would I prefer him to be in country where he can literally lose his life and die? Well, I would prefer him to go to SPAC Nation. I think a lot of the stuff that is going on around it could be questionable, but I think the intentions, or what it was supposed to be, I think the intentions were supposed to be pure. Whatever now has happened.
I don't know.
The fact that we're comparing a church to Conch is mad.
No, because that's what people.
I know, but
that's what people are thinking.
You're comparing shit to shitter than shit.
No, my whole point is that people are saying, oh, we shouldn't be, they shouldn't be using drill to draw in the youth. But how are you gonna draw the youth in? How are you gonna? No, but that was one of the discussions. Oh, they shouldn't be wearing balaclavas. They shouldn't be doing this.
They were rapping the Bible in clean. What is that message? What message is that, Zeze? What message is that? What does the Bible have to do in clean? What, tell me?
Real talk though, real talk.
It's bringing in the
The
youth,
first
like you
snap.
said.
No. But
It's bringing in the youth.
My thing
You're bringing in
is,
the youth.
let us not be so sure about this intention, because the first thing I saw of SPAC, right, before there was a big buzz around it, right, one of my friends. Our relationship has changed a lot over the time.
What, she's sucking your dick?
No, what the fuck? No, obviously, she's part of it. She's very much so part of SPAC, and I have to keep my own distance. I like to keep my spirituality very, very focused on what I know and I trust, which is fine. But when I first knew of it, yeah, I saw a snap. Nice place, but I tell you, like 12, 11, 12, 13 German cars. BM, Mazdas, drop top, everything, Range Rover, lined up, a bunch of black dudes just screaming, yeah, SPAC. But I think, fam, what video shoot is this? He said, oh no, it's my church, it's called SPAC. I said, nah, let me tell you now, yeah, and that's been them from day. What message is that going to send to an impressionable young guy who doesn't have peace? What? Nigga, F God, I'm going there for some money.
You'd even find that kid might end up going to Cunch from SPAC.
God bless
because
you.
of the pressure and the demands of what they've seen.
Yeah, but that's exactly
That
what
is the
I said
realness.
to him. I said to him, do you not feel like you're putting pressure on young people if they haven't got drippy, that they can't come to the front? They might even engage in illegal activities so they can feel included. His thing was, once you come to SPAC Nation, you're going to know that that's not what it's about.
I think it's a zang, man.
And slightly, that's where you can
zang.
slightly see where all the dramas come from. Because that's why I said Christianity, as much as, you know, we as a people were quite loud. And
Christianity isn't about
Christianity
that.
is not a bush. Like, literally, it is
Jesus
a very
didn't have drip.
humble religion.
Yeah, 100%.
Very, very humble.
Yeah.
You get slapped, turn the other cheek. It's all of that stuff. So when you now go into
Both
a
cheeks,
church,
by the way. Sorry, I've had that. Sorry.
when you go into a church and you know there's drip, chains, the whatnot that you see in these churches, it's like, for me, I'm straight away turned off, like, because it's just it's a facade. How I see it.
Yeah.
But like I said, because of my own spiritual connection with God, I can't judge it. And that's why I don't judge Pastor Tobi. Like, I don't agree with the things he's doing. I don't agree with the things and the approach that the church is taking. But some of these methods, some of these messages are spot on. It's what this generation need. Some of it, definitely wrong. Definitely done, you know, you're paddling us up an alley or a stream or something. But from a spiritual perspective, Christianity, the law, it's all a practice, man. Understand your faith, understand your spiritual connection with God, and that will stead you in good faith.
I'd rather go to
hold you good
Lucas's church than SPAC, personally.
I don't go to a church.
Yeah, you know.
Fam, we are Nigerians, we are Yorubas. We come from a place of spirituality, my brother. So, like you said, and that's why I loved when you said it, when you take Christianity and you bring it into your culture and you try and understand certain things, you just live in this bubble of confusion sometimes. It's so, and I get more out of spiritually connecting with God. You know, I feel like Christianity
How do you spiritually
has
connect with God?
meditate,
You meditate, you do.
just, you know, talk to Him.
Cleanse us, just discipline you, focus your mind, channel it.
I'm Catholic, so you know it's a bit different.
You should be combating what's happening in the Catholic
I
Church as well.
have the same vim.
'Cause there's a
Are you sure?
there's
All
lots
this
of
stuff is
people-
I said that earlier. Yeah, and I did history, so I know all about that. I think it's out of order.
So I haven't heard you call the Pope a cunt yet.
That is true.
I do think that if the
Head is your chance. You can call him a cunt you want to.
Hear what I'm saying. Actually, because of the shouting, you guys didn't hear me. Earlier, I said the Catholic Church has pedophiles. I said that.
Okay, but you didn't call them a cunt though. You called Tobi a cunt. I'm just being fair.
Ages ago, so I've already said that.
No, you didn't call him a cunt. You didn't call him that. I listened. I didn't call him that.
The Pope
Yeah, is a what?
particularly has slept with little boys.
Did you know the Pope is worth 80 million? 80 million.
Do you know how much money is in Christianity alone?
100% bare money,
Brother.
bare people. I'm just
When you begin to deep dive,
start a petition about why the Pope has 80 million. And he actually doesn't do anything. He doesn't work for his money. All he does is go around.
By the way, I disagree with a lot of ideologies in the Catholic Church as well, because I know like they don't like people to use condoms, and then in Africa there's high rates
I don't believe
of,
that you should come as well, by the way.
There's high rates
Take a
of
chance.
normal man's difference. in Africa there's higher rates of
I'm joking. With your partner, with just me and her. Let's take a
Okay,
chance.
but in Africa there's high rates of HIV and AIDS, and like when you know like in Africa they're very highly religious, so when they're following the Pope and saying don't use condoms, then they're spreading those diseases. So there's loads of things I don't agree with. I have the same vim. If I think something's wrong, I think it's wrong.
Yeah, no, I
but
feel
don't
you,
take
I
away
feel
from the
you.
fact that
I
I'm
feel you.
Catholic.
Fair enough, I like that.
in a nutshell, understand your faith, understand your spiritual faith and your personal journey with God. And one thing I always like to say, and I really want to get this out there, like, your practice is not your faith. Whether you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're Jew, your practice is not your faith. Your practice is a better way of you understanding and being solid in your faith.
Oh. Bye.